going to cut right through the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
We want to know, set the record straight once and for all, how the hell do you pronounce your last name?
Seuss.
Is it Seuss or Seuss?
Seuss. A lot of people in the business wanted me to change it to Seuss early on.
Because then you could say you're related to the doctor.
A lot of people wanted me to change it because it was just easier for people to understand. I almost lost. I drove a sprint car for a guy that wasn't going to hire me until I spelt my name to him over the phone. And he literally goes, "Oh, it's you. Yeah, you could drive."
Wow.
And he was blowing me off. And
Wow.
he's like, "Let me just get your name and number just in case." So he had read it, never heard anybody say it.
Right. I got you.
So
Because he thought it was pronounced the other way.
yeah.
I have two names that nobody can spell. Most people don't realize that my name actually doesn't have a D in it.
Yep, I can see that.
And then my last name is E-A-R instead of E-R, right?
Okay.
So I remember growing up, I don't remember what grade I was in, but my stepmom, I actually got a note from the teacher, right? I mean, I don't know, it's like 4th, 5th grade, something like this, right? So I got a note from the teacher saying that I refused to spell my name correctly because she thought it was Brandon. My stepmom went off on her ass. Had no more teacher problems after that.
Okay.
2 championships, right?
Yep.
22 wins, is that right? 23.
Something. Yeah, I know we're second on the all-time.
Let's just call it 21 and 1 at Nashville. How about that?
That's fine. Yeah, that counts
Do
for
you
like
still
5.
have the guitar?
I do. It's in my parents' house in Hampstead, New Hampshire. I gave it to my sister.
Okay.
That was her birthday that weekend. We were gone. So, I
Nice.
dragged my
You
dad
had to
away
make
from
up
her.
for taking her
Yeah,
parents
so
away.
technically it is hers. We've never really had a place for trophies.
But you find a place for that one.
That one's on display.
So did you notice when you came in the door that we have one of those guitars
Yes.
in the front?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was working on Shock one day and door flings open and it's Daniel Hemrick. And he brought me the guitar from the
pretty
All-American 400. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah. So you win the race at Nashville, which, by the way, like, it just blows my mind. Like, that's literally the first race you won, and it's tour mod as far as NASCAR legal.
So
Is that your first? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but is that your first win outside of your local tracks next to your house?
So yeah, yes, I had
not.
won the New Smyrna Speed Weeks championship for tour mods without actually winning a race.
Okay.
The year before.
I'm telling you, this whole conversation just took a turn. If I ever win the lottery, the very first thing I'm doing is buying New Smyrna Speedway. There is no, like, I'm talking snowball derbies, like Whelen Modified Tour champions, like the greatest of the great, right? Respect them all for their own right. There is no greater list to put your name on than New Smyrna Speed Weeks champion. Like, if you look back in the history, like, all the greats, super late models, tour modifieds, like, it's literally the holy grail of championships, in my opinion.
Third year we went down, my dad pulled me aside and he said, "Here's the deal. We don't, business isn't as good this year. We don't really have the money. We'll go down. If we break a tie rod, we're coming home."
Oh, yeah. So, like, you're...
So this is, if we wreck, we're coming. We're not fixing the car. We're not putting clips on the car like we've done. Yes, he lied to me because I broke a rear end bracket. We didn't fix it. They're taking the green and they pile up big into one. Okay. So we're like, we're going to be laps down. It's not going to be worth it. Then all of a sudden we got a shot at this. We go back. We fix the car. We finish 5th. We go into championship night, and I remember having probably the best car I had all week. I got to 5th. And one of the guys that I'm running for the championship for pulls onto the inside. He's 4th, I'm 5th, pulls to the inside and starts doing this. But he's not slow. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm finishing 5th tonight because I'm not wrecking this championship.
Really love the fact that you won the first race at the fairgrounds because the history of the place.
It's the only modified race there in the last now 40 years because they didn't go back.
Man, I didn't know that.
Let me give you the rundown of how I got there.
Okay.
So we're at New Smyrna because we love New Smyrna. It's 2007, so I'm going to defend my championship.
Okay.
Teddy decides I'm not going to win anything at New Smyrna ever again. He publicly said it at Springfield at the Race-A-Rama. It just twitched a brain. He wrecks me in practice, wrecks me on night 1, wrecks me on night 2. Rear end bells, tubes. We're rebuilding the rear end at the house we rented, got the bell in the stove, slide the new tube in it. Just a week with Savali in the 00 backup car, gets me loose, gets up side of me, hits my left front, head on into the fence.
So you mean the Brady Bunch?
The Brady Bunch.
Okay.
Car, yep.
Yeah.
And so we get the car
I got
home.
a good Brady Bunch story.
And there's plenty because it's a great group of people. We get the car home. I was in vocational welding in high school, and we made a jig, and it was out of bent I-beams of all things because we didn't have any money as kids, and we're running around. And we made this jig, and I made plates, and I spaced them so that they were all perfectly level. And it was pretty funny. My dad goes, okay, we could bring the car down to Northeast Race Cars, have Brad put a clip on it. There's $2,000 in the race account. He said, it'd be like $1,500, and by the time we buy some parts, it'd be $2,000, and we'll be out of racing for a little while. He goes, I just remember his exact words. If you and your buddies can figure out how to do that front clip on that jig that you made, we'll do it. We cut up all the pieces on the clip and redid it. Okay. So we did our own clip. And it hits so square, just like accordioned it, and, with the modified, it's not, you don't have the big nose or anything, a lot of body work. I had to build a new nose, use the same hood. All the front suspension was fine. So the shocks were fine, all that. We put this thing, we put it together, put it on the ground, and the ride height's perfect. Like, that's weird.
That's weird.
Put it on the scales.
That's really weird.
Scaled perfect. Didn't put a turn on it.
Nice.
Went to Nashville, changed the gear, changed the sway bar, and then put it back. So, I mean, we raced that car how we brainstormed in our head because nobody had notes from Nashville. And we get into tech, they pull the hood off, and they didn't like the bolt that I welded into the front clip to take up the gap on the front clip. So he's going, if we seen this before, we wouldn't have let this out there. And I got to laugh. I go, this is the fastest car here.
Right.
That was like my favorite thing. Like, you're picking on this car because they could see the threads where it was still a bolt. Right. But I had a big gap, and that's what you do when you're welding in gaps.
That's awesome. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's how we won Nashville. They told us to go at least grind the bolt out of it so they couldn't see it anymore.
That's awesome. I could totally see them like freaking out over that, right?
Oh, yeah.
In all seriousness, it's a badass place to get your first win. But I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you like better, Nashville or New Smyrna?
So one of the amazing things about New Smyrna in general is it's 35-lap races.
Yep.
You get to race as hard as you like. That as a race car driver, I don't have to go out and save tires and have a strategy and all that. I have to drive qualifying laps for 35 laps and hope that it holds up. And
hope it's enough.
The other thing that's great about New Smyrna is if it doesn't hold up, I get to wake up the next morning and do it again and like re-go, okay, this is going to do it.
Man, I'm telling you, I've said that a million times in my life.
Some people
you just get to do it again tomorrow.
How
cool is that?
The other reason is most guys by the end of New Smyrna are done. They don't want to see a race car.
For sure.
And somebody said, I forget who said it, but it was the best quote ever, was by the end of speed weeks, you can't tell the winners from the losers.
100%.
And when you used to do 9 nights.
I've never heard that before, but that is absolutely true. No disrespect to any other form of racing in the world, right? Friday night qualifying at Snowball Derby is the most intense day of the year.
Yes.
Like when you're walking down pit road, right?
Nobody's smiling at that.
Nobody.
No, it is intense.
But you can cut the air.
Yes.
With a cardboard box.
If you don't wear the same T-shirt as me at this point, you are not.
We are not friends.
No.
So Bubba Pollard is the greatest race car driver that ever lived that raced at Pensacola. Okay, like
you're kind of underselling him.
Like, well, no, that's okay. He actually missed his calling being a race car driver. He actually should have been something else. But for Pensacola specifically, like Dale Earnhardt was the best racer at Daytona the day before he won the Daytona 500. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
He was the best racer in the history of Daytona the day before he won the Daytona 500. Like Bubba Pollard's never won the Snowball Derby, but I think Augie Grill is second on the all-time wins list at 9 races, Super Late Model races, Blizzard races at Pensacola, and I think Bubba has 23. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's like he's got stats to back it up, right? Yep. This past year, Snowball Derby, Friday night qualifying, I'm standing there talking to Jack Dossey's mother. Just she's nervous. We're all nervous.
Yeah,
I don't even drive, and I'm fucking nervous. You know what I mean? Bubba comes up and he's like he's just not, he's just like, what's wrong? He's like, fucking nervous. Like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know what we got. Like it's the amount of, like, there's no getting away from how important that moment is. It's not even the pressure. It's just knowing how important that moment is and knowing what's on the line. I've said this a million times. I've said it once. You cannot be good enough to win the Snowball Derby. Like, you have to be lucky too.
For sure.
Like, you have, like, the entire weekend is just such a process.
Ask Ty Majeski this year.
100%. Like, I literally told a guy last year, like, I think it was, so practice on Thursday or whatever, unloads on Friday, and he's like, I'm fucking terrible. I'm like, just put it back in the truck. Like, do not adjust this thing. Just put it back in the truck.
Yeah.
Guess what they did? Dialed it right out. Saturday, they can't get their own way because it was exactly what it was the day before. Like, any racetrack that close to the ocean in the South is very temperamental. It's very temperature sensitive.
Yep.
And they screwed themselves right out. But
yeah. Well, you could say, I mean, I've been there when the dew rolls in. Mm-hmm. Same thing at New Smyrna. You can't see the backstretch. Yeah. Myrtle Beach, unfortunately, we'll never see another race there. But
so when you were there, it wouldn't happen to be the same year that Augie set the track record in the Pro Car, was it? Was it 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
No, I wasn't. I've only done the last
like
two.
Halfway through qualifying.
Yeah.
Man.
And he said it through the fog and the rain.
It was so much cooler when it started back. It rained. Temperature dropped probably 20 degrees. When they went back qualifying, these boys were getting it done, son. To watch a race car driver, like I've said this a million times, like he gets in the car, he bites the steering wheel, and he doesn't let go to the race over. Like he's chewing on it, like he's just digging, you know? Like to watch him drive is pretty phenomenal. Now, if I had to race against him, I'd shoot the guy.
Yeah.
But... Molly, can we do this or not?
Wow, you are rough.
Was that good?
Man.
Yeah. So the weird thing is, like, Molly printed these out, like, double side. Like, who does that? She's trying to save paper. Like, why do you do that? So some of them have X's on them. That's not the question you read. It's the other side.
Okay.
You pick one.
All right. Not this side. It's the other side. From Bubba Winslow.
Okay. Local Pensacola guy.
Good
Five
stuff.
Flag Speedway.
Good stuff. With many wins throughout your careers, would you give them all up for one special win you're still chasing, or keep all the ones you have now? Bubba Winslow.
Man, that's a tough one. Damn, that's a legit question right there. I'll tell you what, man, I've been pretty blessed in my life to be a part of a very small part of some pretty special moments. Ryan Priest, Bristol, Bubba Pollard, All-American 400, Kyle Busch, Snowball Derby, Noah Gragson, Snowball Derby, like some pretty, like, really good moments, right? Like, you remember, like, Chase Elliott got thrown out at the Derby for the Tungsten?
Yep.
And Eric Jones won?
Yep.
That was my first Derby win, Eric.
That's cool.
It's pretty wild, right? Like, I mean, I don't really, I'm like, I kind of claim it, but, you know.
The way that
so I don't
Derby
claim it
goes,
as in, like, actual conversation, but if someone's like, how many Derbys are you going to look? 3?
Yeah.
Won Red Buds, won 400s at Winchester, like Snowball Derbies. I would not trade them. I would actually trade all of them except for the Derbies. Not trade my Snowball Derbies. If I could give it all up, I wouldn't. But if I had to pick one, I'll never win it because I'm not a sprint car guy. But probably the one win that would mean the most to me would be the short track nationals at I-30 Speedway in Little Rock, Arkansas. And it's a 360 sprint car race. Like, it's like, if you look at the winners list, it's like, it's a fucking Hall of Fame. Like, it's not who's who. Like, it's Steve Kinzer. It's Sammy Swindell. Like, it's a Hall of Fame. Like, yeah. If I could pick one, that would be the one.
Well, why aren't we building sprint car shocks right now? What are we doing?
Because we're still chasing them Snowball Derbies. That's why.
You got 3 of those. You proved it.
Yeah, I need 6.
6? Okay.
After 6, we'll go sprint car racing. But to answer the question, that was an intense question.
That went deep.
I'm telling you, that hurts my heart to even think about I-30 right now. But Bubba Winslow, because of how deep that was, is going to get some free springs from Hyperco.
Bubba Winslow, you just touched
Molly.
Brannon's soul.
Bubba Winslow touched my soul. Question. You want to do a question?
Yeah. All right, your turn.
It's my turn? Let's do this one. It says, if bleed is grip, and bleed also causes a lack of control to influence the tire causing less grip, what's the right amount of bleed?
Is that like a poem?
No, we have this thing, like no fucking tech questions.
Like I said, I don't, this drinking beer thing, like I'm not that often, I don't do it a lot. A lot of his drivers like to party.
Drinking beer.
It is
like
totally
you're sipping beer.
Fake. Totally
you're
fake.
Sipping beer.
It's not actually just got this koozie on a seltzer.
I know, right?
Seltzer water.
Yeah. And you got Dasani in there.
Yeah. Well, I gotta stay hydrated, you know?
Yeah.
I got a lot of body.
I'm pretty sure
to me.
Molly has you on video pouring the Busch Light out and putting the Dasani water in there. Yeah.
I gotta stay hydrated, you know? I might drive a race car one day. You never know.
Might,
so to totally just like, again, make people think different of me. I go to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock the night before a race.
What?
Yeah, no, like sun's up, it doesn't bother me. I'm going to bed. I get upset when people are trying to keep me awake.
Wow.
So Eddie's like, man, I've always had partiers for drivers. Eddie walked in the shop one time. I was listening to classical music. He was a little bit weirded out.
What do you mean classical?
I like instrumental. Like
what?
Yeah.
God, you're so weird. Are you
yeah,
serious?
yeah, for sure. For sure weird.
When you said classical, I thought you meant like Johnny Cash.
No, listen, I'm all about the cash. Just on this
Apparently
day,
not.
my shuffle was on.
Oh my God. You're doing
mostly
like Sinatra?
Mostly no,
like Sinatra?
All right, to be even weirder, mostly like, you know, Indiana Jones theme song music. Pump me up a little bit.
No way.
I got it on my playlist.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, no, I the next thing you're going to realize about me is like not a lot of shame. Like I don't care what anybody really worries or thinks about me.
Yeah, me either. I literally don't give a fuck.